There are 8 billion of us on this planet, and most of us live to an average human lifespan of 77 years, which is roughly around 923 months, which is about 4,000 weeks, and roughly around 28,124 days. I don't know what you guys think, but I think that is really short. Most of us spend our lifetime wanting to belong and wanting to matter. We are taught at an early age that in order to matter, we must contribute to society. And in order to contribute to society, we must excel in our careers. Some of us, or most of us, get the opportunity to go to school. Some of us get the opportunity to go to university to further excel our education. At some point or another, most of us end up getting a job, then we grind away at life. We pay bills, we buy a car, we buy a house, we take a fancy vacation, and then we retire. And ultimately, we all die. Now that I said that out loud, it actually sounds kind of sad and depressing, but that is not the point of this video. I'm not talking about something melancholy or the negativity in this world. Is actually the opposite. But we get inundated these days with quotes such as, "Good things happen to those who hustle." Hustle and grind have become the new buzzwords. Also like boss bitch, or my favorite, which is fake it till you make it. I did all of this. I grinded myself through school. I grinded myself through university. I ended up getting a great job. I had a great career, and that nearly killed me. I'm not exaggerating. I was literally in the hospital, almost died. But it still took me the next 5 years to realize that I don't need to be an expert in one thing. Because I also realized that there's so many wonderful things in this life that I want to experience. There's so many wonderful things in this world that I want to do, that I'm okay being average at everything. I don't need to be an expert in one single thing and devote my entire life to one single thing, which doesn't give me enough in return as far as my happiness. But as a child, I was always taught by society that I need to excel in my career. I need to be an expert at something. That's what school taught me. That's what my teachers taught me. That is what my professors taught me. And that is what books taught me, is to excel in life, to hustle and grind and live the American dream. But my dream was something else. I want to learn how to grow a nice garden. I want to learn different languages. I want to learn how to cook different cuisines. I want to learn how to surf. But I don't need to be an expert in all of those things, or even one thing, because I'd rather be average in multiple different things and experience all those things rather than focusing on one thing. The fact is that we only get to live about 4,000 weeks. That's if we are lucky and live a full human lifespan. And for me, more than half of that is already gone. So for me, time is really short, which now I realize, or I realized a while ago, that this really sucks. But like I said before, this video is not about negativity. It's not about regrets. And I don't have any regrets, but I will come to the point later on. After my university, I focused on my career and my career only. But at the university, I had a lot of fun. I met great friends and I made good friends with my professors. Basically, I just met wonderful people. I did everything that a normal university kid does that you see in the movies. I went to parties, I hung out with different crowds of people, I got involved with so many different clubs at the university. So I really enjoyed my university life. And after the university, when I got my first job and excelled in my career, that also gave me a lot of opportunities. And I still remember getting my first job, and I was so excited because the thought of driving into the office and sitting at a desk from 9 to 5 was so exciting to me, because I finally felt like an adult where I could go in and I would interact with other adults that are actually working, and I would have a paycheck at the end of every 2 weeks, and my bank account would not be $20-$30 at the end of the month. I would actually have some money, and I could actually go out and enjoy life with my friends. And then I landed even a better job. Instead of driving into the office, I was getting on a plane every Monday to go into the office. So I felt even more professional. I felt like a proper consultant going into work every week, and it was very exciting for me. I was young, I was excited, I was experiencing life. I became so engrossed with my career that it became my only passion. I worked hard, and I actually worked very hard. And for fun, I would spend the money that I had earned on the weekends on fun things or take trips here and there. And now when I reflect back on those times, I see it a little bit differently. I see it as it became like an endless loop. It's like someone would push the repeat button every Sunday, and on Mondays I would go off again on the plane, living in hotels, living out of a suitcase, driving rented cars, missing out on life with family and friends. And that became my life. I was constantly praised for all the hard work that I did, and the more I worked, the more respect I gained. I would sit hours on ends in meetings, and then I would go back to my hotel and I would work more. Then I would fly back home on the weekends and I would spend the weekend working. And then one day I almost died. I still remember this day as if it was yesterday. I flew into work and I started getting chest pains, and I ignored it for an entire day. And then the next day, my chest was just, I felt like I couldn't breathe. And in the middle of the night, from my hotel room, I walked myself across the street. There was a hospital, luckily. I walked myself to the hospital, and I ended up getting a pulmonary embolism. I didn't realize the seriousness of this condition and this issue that I had until the nurse said to me, I think it's a good idea that you might want to call your loved ones. And I looked at her, why would I want to call my loved ones? I don't want to disturb anyone. I am away from home. I'm in a completely different state. Am I going to die? Like literally, I asked her, was I going to die? And she looked at me, but she did not give me an answer. And to me, that was a bit daunting and frightening. But you would think that would be my wake-up call, and it actually wasn't. The next day I woke up and I logged into my laptop and I logged into a meeting, a conference call. And the first thing that my boss said to me was, wow, I'm really impressed that you called into this meeting from the hospital. Knowing what I had, the issue that I had, the condition that I had, and the seriousness of it, no one asked me if I was okay. No one asked me to get off the phone and take care of myself. And the funny thing is that I was actually happy that I called in, and I was happy to hear those words that, wow, you called in and I am really impressed with you. I was happy that he was impressed. And I put myself completely like last. My well-being was at risk, and I did not even think about it. Now that I'm sitting here talking to you guys, a quote comes to mind: find what you love and let it kill you. And I know that quote can be taken in so many different perspectives. My perspective back then was that I love my job and I love my career, but I don't want to be killed for something that I love doing. I really don't. But that became the problem. Or I guess in a way you could say it became the answer, because after that is when I started realizing that what I was doing in my life wasn't my love. It's not something that I truly loved doing. I realized that something had to change. The American work culture was no longer my thing. I was done trying to be the best at my job, and I was okay being average at my job. This didn't happen over time though. It took me the next 5 years to become average. I know that price sounds funny, but it took me 5 years to become average and be okay with that and be content with that. And with that came my happiness, and I actually started living. It took me half of my life to realize that it's okay to not chase a dream. Everyone has their own version of their big dream. And mine was in line back then with the great American dream. Get an education, get a nice job, and buy a house and drive a nice car. Now my dream is different. But I do recognize that this is my own journey, not anyone else's. So what I feel now would be obviously different than what you're going through or anyone else is going through. I have worked hard for what I have, so maybe that's why my viewpoint on life is a bit differently now than what it was back then. But maybe not, I don't know. And that's the beautiful thing about life, is that we are all going through our own journey, and at the same time we are all trying to figure out life as we go on and as we live life. But what I do realize now is that it's okay not to worry about life, but instead enjoy the moment and live in the moment, experiencing everything that I want to experience without having this need to be an expert at everything or anything really. I'm okay with being average, and I've realized that that is now my happy place.